Assalamu alaikum. Hope you people are doing well and enjoyed Eidul Adha. Also, well, I'm also fine. And time for another lecture. Well, my today's lecture is very simple and general. And right now, you people are seeing on the screen. The topic is somehow relevant to the physics subject. The name of the topic is force and the motion. Well, let's start. First, we will see the major topics which we will cover in this lecture. The first one is introduction to force and motion. What is the unit of force? Contact and non-contact forces. What are the effects of forces? What is motion, speed, and velocity? Now come towards the force. A force can be defined as any push or a pull on an object is termed as force. And here's an example of a push means pushing a door to open it is a type of force. The second example is relevant to pull, means pulling a rope in a tug of war. Well, right now you people are seeing different types of diagrams or images on the screen. These are basically the examples of push and pull. For example, ringing the doorbell is basically an example of a push, means we apply a force in the form of push. Similarly, giving a wagon ride is a type of pull. Flying a kite is a type of pull. Kicking a ball is a type of push. So you people can study these images as a form of worksheet and identify these different type of images. Either they are the example of push or they are the example of pull. Now let's move towards the next slide. Type of forces. Okay, there are two types of forces. One is the contact forces and the other one is the non-contact forces. Now what is a contact forces? Contact force occurs when an object touch each other, means the friction force is a contact force, tension in a string is a contact force, and the non-contact forces, those type of forces which act at a distance, like gravity, magnetic force. Here are the examples of the contact and the non-contact forces, like the applied force on any object is a contact force. Spring force, the force which we exert on a spring due to which it elongates is a type of contact force. Drag force, frictional force, and the normal force which any object exerts on the surface is a type of the contact force. While on the other hand, non-contact forces are those forces which act on a distance, like magnetic force, electric force, gravitational force, means they can be attraction, non-contact forces, or repulsion, and they act from a distance. But the contact forces, they are always the interaction between the objects that touch. Okay, now move towards the another slide. Unit of force. Now how can we measure the force? We can measure the force in the unit of Newton. Newton is the unit of the force. Okay, the next one is what are the effects of forces? Effects of forces means whenever we apply a force on any object, what are the possible outcomes of our force? Now we'll study these outcomes. The first one is change in the shape. Force which we apply can deform an object, means change its shape or a size. And the second one is change in the direction. Whenever we apply a force, maybe it results in the alteration of the direction in which an object is moving. These are the two effects of the forces. The third one is initiation of a motion, means we can make any stationary object to start after applying a force, means force can cause a stationary object to begin moving. Another one is change in the state of rest. Force can bring a moving object to a stop, means if any object is moving, by applying force we can bring that object to a stop. For example, by applying a brake, the car becomes stop. And the last one is change in the velocity, means by applying a force, the speed of an object and its direction can be changed. So the last effect is the change in the velocity, which result as a result of the application of force. Now look at the four images. These images shown how the force bring different types of effects. The first one is cyclist uses force to paddle his bicycle and increase the speed. In the second one, a man used the force to move a stationary lawn mower. The third one is a footballer uses force to change the direction of the motion of a ball. And the last one is a baker uses force to change the shape in a dough into a curry puff. These are the different types of the effects which results as a result of the due to the application of a force, or we can say these are the different types of outcomes or the possibilities which we made after the application of the force. Okay, now come towards the another topic of our today's lecture is the motion. Okay, now what is the motion? Motion is any change in the position of an object over a time is termed as motion, and we can further explain this term in three ways, or by using three key factors. Like the first one is movement, that as a result of the motion something moves from one place to another, means a car driving down the road, person walking on the road, or the rolling of a ball. The second key term is the change of position. As a result of motion, any object changes position. For example, if we move from our house towards a market, we change our position from house towards the market. Our position will become changed after our motion. So the second key term is the change of the position due to the result of motion. The last one is time factor, that motion happens over a time. The faster the motion, the less time it takes to change the position. For example, if we move towards a market from our house, if we move faster in a car, we will change our position in a short time. But if we move slowly, then we change our position in a more time due to the slow motion or slow moving of our car. So these key terms helps you to define the motion. The term motion, movement, position change, and the time factor. Okay, these are the key terms. You can look it keenly, so it will help you to explain the motion. Now the other one is speeds. What is speed? Okay, well, speed can be defined as how fast an object is moving. It tells you the distance an object travels over a certain period of time, means in a particular time how much an object covers a distance. And there is a formula of the speed that we can calculate the speed by using the formula speed equal to distance over time, and the unit in which we measure the speed is kilometer per hour or meter per second. Okay, here are some examples. Only one example, and other are 5 scenarios. The first example is the car travel 100 km in 2 hours. So its speed will be, according to the formula, distance covered over time, 100 divided by 2, 50 km per hour is your answer. So here are 5 scenarios which I have generated for your practice. You can use this in your practice to by using the formula of speed to find the answer of these scenarios. The number one scenario is a runner completes a 400-meter lap, which is the distance around a track in 80 seconds. Now you can find out the speed. Similarly, the scenario number 2 is a car travel 150 km east in 3 hours. What will be its speed? You can use the formula and find the speed. Scenario number 3 is cyclists move 30 km west in 2 hours. Again, you have a distance, time. Now you can calculate the speed. Scenario 4, boat travels 60 km upstream north in 4 hours. So you can use the same formula. And the last scenario is the drone flies 200 meters in a circular path and return to its starting point in 50 seconds. Again, use the same formula and find the speed and the velocity. Here is the velocity. Velocity is the speed of an object in a specific direction. Identify the difference in a specific direction. It tells you how fast and in which direction the object is moving, and you can calculate the velocity by using this formula, displacement over time. And what is displacement? It is basically the straight line distance from the starting point to the ending point in a specific direction, or shortest distance between the 2 points. Means with a particular direction, any object covers a distance is termed as displacement. Here's a key difference between the speed and the velocity, because most of the students mostly remain confused regarding these two terms, speed and velocity, and they can't identify the difference between the speed and the velocity. So here is the key difference between the speed and the velocity. What is speed? Speed only considers how fast something is moving. Okay, and the second point is it uses the total distance traveled. Whereas in the case of velocity, it uses the displacement, means straight line distance from start to finish. You have the specific point from the starting point and the finish point, means a particular direction. And it considers both how fast and in what direction your object is moving. So here's a key difference between the speed and the velocity. Thank you so much. End of the lecture. Bye bye.